remember, if we remember, the fun happens, right? The fun happens, or generally for the past 2 days, the fun happens midday, right? The fun happens midday. So during the midday stuff, obviously we want to be looking at tickers that if we follow the the trend, follow the trend, we want to be focusing on tickers that don't have a catalyst and popped up during the day itself. We're not talking about pre-market, but popped up during the day itself. But if you look at the market today, we don't have that sort of thing. The only thing that we have was BOWN, but this didn't really give us any sort of reversal setup right here, right? We had a nice trade over here, popping to like new highs almost from 8.1s, went down to 7.8s, popped back up to like 8.9, so it was beautiful. We're just gonna make new highs over here and went all the way down, right? So this could be the play for today, but what is the different? What is the thing that's different today is that we had XHLD not breaking down, and I think this was a super beautiful trender all day today. Okay, you can see. And the reason why I was mainly focused on this because this is the only one that has volume, right? I like to play tickers with volume. I like to play tickers with volume. I do not like tickers without volume. Okay. Yeah, so we look at the first trade I took for today. Now, the first one's going to be Aether, right? The first one's going to be Aether. Okay, the first one's going to be Aether. And for those of you guys who don't know, okay, for those of you guys who don't know, Aether is a 2020 cult favorite, right? Aether is the 2020 cult favorite. Okay, you can see that, right? For those of you guys who traded in 2020, I'm pretty sure you guys know this ticker over here. I'm going to show you guys an example. What do I mean by cult? Because I remember when I was trading this ticker back in 2020, this ticker went from, right? So this is post-split prices. Don't get too excited. It's not 587, right? We have to divide by 12. So this 587.88 divided by 12, this was 48.99, right? And it started its run from $1. $1 going all the way up to 40 something dollars. Right. And I remember this was a hot cult ticker. People were saying that this is high short squeeze ticker and stuff like that. And there was a lot of volume just things squeezing up. And to be honest, when I saw this name move up yesterday, it was very nostalgic because it was very nostalgic because I've never seen this ticker for a really long time, right? I think a lot of tickers that I traded in back in 2020 pretty much died off, right? I'm seeing a lot of new tickers right now, right? That I've never seen in 2020, right? But this is a 2020 classic. So as we go into open, there was two tickers I was watching, right? The first one was BDTX. The second one was 8 I wasn't really watching anything else. I also wasn't watching XHLD. Now I was watching XHLD, right? But I wasn't very interested in this action over here at first because I was more focused on ABTX for a potential squeeze move, right? And Aether for a potential, again, 2020 potential move. But I think during the midday, volume kind of ran back into the penny names like SUNE, right? You can see that SUNE and XHLD, right? And initially, this was a penny, so we cannot say this is not. So I have to shift my focus on that, but we'll talk about that later, right? So we'll talk about BDTX first, right? So for me, BDTX, okay. Now I'll tell you guys this, okay. I traded this on my own because it was way too quick for me to alert for you guys. I took it on this candle over here at 239, 238. As I was typing the alert out for you guys, this thing went up to 250s plus, right? It was way too quick. I mean, it was just pointless for me to alert over here at this point of time. So I didn't alert this part for you guys because I was focusing on Aether and this, right? But my first play over here was Aether, okay, for you guys, right? ADTX, I think, that was a good play. My first trade over here was Aether, 2.9s at 938, okay? So at 938, which is 2.9s right here, yeah. Yeah, 938 on this candle here, right? And we got a nice move to 318, went all the way down. Now, look, why did I, right? Why did I only trim half this time for Aether? And I told you guys that I was going to hold the rest for more. So for me, because I understand that Ader first off is running on what? Share repurchase program buyback plan. I think there's a lot of tickers that's been dropping this share repurchase buyback bullshit, right? Yesterday it was Lidl, right? And then Ader is one, and then today XHLD is basically running on that news right there. Okay, obviously I wouldn't know that I didn't know at that point of time, right? XHLD is going to run on share buyback news, but at least, right, we traded this in the morning. It had this very nice move. So there is some bit of strength in the share buyback news, right? So Ader was the one that had share buyback news. If you read this, all right, $3 million share buyback plan, exactly the same thing as XHLD, exactly the same thing as Lidl yesterday, right? So when we had such a strong flow in the morning over here, this was a very nice pickup, right? We got a nice move. Now, why did I not stop out on why did I leave the rest for more? And I told you guys, right? Normally I would raise my stops up for this, but for this one, I wanted to see if we can base over 280, but why? Now look, Ader, you know, it's been a really long time, right? Now, if you look at this, I always tell you guys what the big pivot for us is going to be the 200 EMA, right? This red line over here on the daily chart. And you can see this has been a very distinct level of rejection for the stock. Okay, and go all the way, but you can see, right? This has always been a distinct level for the stock, right? This has always been a distinct level for this stock right here. Okay, you can see that one is here, and then the other one is over here. You can see that? Yeah. So this has always been a distinct level for the stock, right? So when price on the 1 minute chart broke over the 280 today, when price on the 1 hour chart broke over the 280 today, can you see? I could have just played this in the 280 breakout too, right? I could have played this on the 280s breakout too. Do you see that? Do you see this? If I were to translate this back to the daily chart over here, okay, you can see that this is where the red line is at. I mean, round it off, right? I don't want to use one. You can do it, but same thing for me. Right? 1 cent's not going to make a whole lot of difference, right? So you can see I could play the 280 breakout too. That's completely fine. It's going to work out as well, right? But because I was a little late to it, it's fine, right? I just have to make sure to respect my plan. My stop's on the 270, just give me some room. But ideally speaking, I want to see 280 hold, which is why I did trim some out, but I wanted to see whether we can hold the rest for more because again, market open movement has been a little bit choppy, right? And the volume was kind of rotating between this and BTX in the morning. So we can't really be too sure which one's going to be the winner, right? We cannot really be too sure which one's going to be the winner. Hold on 1 second. Okay. We can't really be too sure this is going to be the winner, right? So I was just letting both play out, right? For me, it was either going to be BTX or Ader that's going to be the winner, okay? And because BTX flush, Ader won. By the point of time, I had to try both because again, maybe both of them won, right? Because BTX also had very huge squeeze potential. Now, if you saw this action over here, right? Second candle had a long wick from VWAP, nice bullish engulfing candle, or rather, not, I wouldn't say it's a bullish engulfing candle, but it's a nice hammer, right? I took my entries again. Like I said, I took my entries over here at 2.38, 2.39 after I saw this, but as I was typing the entry out, it just went up. I couldn't send it out to you guys. It was way too quick, right? And it was a very nice play. But as we continue to go down, okay, retest the VWAP and stuff, we started to curl back up a little bit. Now look, 268 is a big level, right? And I think at 267, okay? Why? Because this is where a lot of rejections are happening. And this is also exactly where the price is starting to reject. And you have to understand, and guys, okay, always remember one thing, okay? I took at 943, I took at 259, right? 943 right here. I took it at 259. So you can see that we did go up to 268. I told you guys, right? It's a big level there. We need to see a push from here. If not, what we're gonna see is a fake out into massive sells, and we can just cut it. And I think I got out for a super small loss over here, close to break even, to be honest, because we tried to break out, but we got massive sells. I was like, fuck it, might as well just close it off, right? Because I don't want to get caught in this candle. Why? Guys, you need to understand when we trade tickers that has potential to squeeze, it also has potential to knife. Right? It works both ways. Okay, there's not gonna be one ticker that has potential to squeeze but not knife. Okay, so it's very exciting to be in a ticker that squeezes up. Yes, it is. Okay, but there is also potential for it to knife. You always got to think about it like that. All right. You can think about the good side of things, but you also have to understand that when it's that good, there has to be a catch. Okay. And exactly what it is, it knifes, right? And I think I kind of told you guys as well, if you can see, right, we can either knife or squeeze, and then once we lost to 248, I was just market selling everything away. Once you saw this over here, I was market selling everything away. Yeah, because I told you guys, it's either we squeeze or knife. Either way, something's gonna happen, right? Could be a good thing for us, could be bad for us, but we still try. Because if imagine if we squeeze up, right? It would have been nice. And it wasn't because like I was randomly taking it, right? It was the price went down. We formed a lot of nice wicks. We had a nice candle right here. I thought we are gonna go from here, but then price knifed down. It is what it is, right? We're forming a little bit of a cup and handle as well. I'm not sure you can see that. But ideally, I mean, the angle is that we still need that 268, 267 clear, but it never happened. Price knife. As price knife, well, it was very clear that volume has to reach somewhere, and it went into Aether that continued making new highs into 350. Yeah, it went in new highs into 350 right here. Okay, and this was exactly the level that I was telling you guys we're gonna get. Yeah. Okay. All right. So for Aether over here, why was 350 a big level? I can't really. Oh, there we go. All right. Look. Now, if you guys can see, right, on this spot, there is a huge price action separation. Now, this is very distinct. Okay, look at this. This action over here, very distinct. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see? Can you see how distinct this 350 level is? You guys see that? Do you guys see this? So because it's such a huge separation, right? Such a huge separation, and it's exactly what it is. It's a separation. So if we don't break out from it, we're not gonna go anywhere, right? Without break out from it, we're not gonna go anywhere. So in a sense, that's also gonna be resistance for us. Exactly what it is that it hit that resistance level, price went all the way down. Now, if XHLD and SUNE didn't make this move today, we might have seen a nice move on this into EOD, but because the volume profile shifted, so there was not much love over here anymore. I think one of you guys was asking me in free chat that was it a good play and stuff. I said it has potential, right? But is it going to be a play where you can get like a EOD squeeze move? A little bit hard. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but probably like 10-20% chance it does. Because you can see it did give you guys a couple of nice scalps, but nothing big, right? Because the volume wasn't there. The volume was in XXLD. For this to potentially move, maybe we need to see XXLD die off for volume rotation. But obviously, XXLD didn't die off. So obviously, this thing wasn't going to go anywhere. So this was done. All right, this is what it is. Now, next trade I took was BTAI. So I got caught up a little bit on this as well, right? Now, this was a really, really low volume stuff. I was hoping for us to get so over here, what happened was price had a $65 price target. Now, again, I mentioned this many times before, right? I don't care about tickers that has this $65 price target bullshit, right? It's sometimes these analyst companies are being paid to write shit like that. So initially speaking, people see it, this thing is at two plus, right? People who don't understand, they'd be like, oh my God, $65 price target. Let me buy over here because this is still undervalued. And you can see this initial pump. But sometimes it could be, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say, but it could be like people, they're putting out this PR so that they can sell into retail buying, something like that. Maybe. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying maybe. Okay, but why did I take this trade? Because over here, and also, okay, first off is because this over here is a low floater, right? Again, remember, we are seeing a lot of low float, no news tickers or no official news tickers go up. So I was thinking, at the point of time when BTX was knifing, when Aether was knifing down as well, right? I thought we could see a nice move on this. Because again, I wanted to try to avoid the pennies as much as we can. Why? Because SUNE didn't have news, right? So I didn't want to trade this. And you can see, I think you guys can realize that I did not trade this at all today. All right. Why did I choose XHLD over SUNE? Because XHLD has a catalyst. There's justification for this action over here. SUNE didn't have that. So that's why I did not trade this at all. It made a nice move, right? It made a nice move, but I don't need to make my money from here, okay? Because again, for me, I'm not comfortable with trading a setup that is not within my comfort zone, right? You can choose your battles over here, right? You want to be trading something that you understand and you're good at. But for this one over here, it's a penny name. First things first, I don't like it. Second thing is there's no catalyst over here, right? And if I have to choose an option between two pennies that one has a catalyst and one doesn't, I will always go for the ones with catalyst. Okay, all right. So yeah, so I was hoping that BTL was gonna be the one. Now the reason why I took it was because price had a retracement back under VWAP, right? Price had a retracement back under VWAP, and we saw quite a bit of rejection over here. You can see that, right? And then price went down. But one interesting thing is, it was kind of holding above the 21 EMA trend line, and we formed this hammer candle into this bullish engulfing candle right here. And plus, obviously, the $65 price target. I thought we could have a little bit more life into this, a little bit more catch, right? So that's why I took my entries over here at 953, which is exactly right on this candle, right? After candle close above VWAP, I took my entries. And yeah, I mean, we popped up. I wanted to move to 290 plus and more, but then it was low volume stuff. And unfortunately, at that point of time, volume was also inside the penny names. This thing flushed, right? Because it is low volume. The volume isn't there. So that's why it flushed down. Okay, I think the spread was I think recovered, 250, 260s pretty quickly because spread was shit. But yeah, I closed off for a loss right there. It happens, right? You take a loss, it happens, guys. All right. Not every single trade is gonna be a win. Okay, you just gotta brush it off and move on. So now that that has done, right? Now that that has done, now look at this time over here. This is at 9:56. Okay, and the 9:56 Ader was also gone, right? Let's see, 9:56. Oh, was still here. Ader was still here. Well, anyway, we're still in this, so I was still watching this and stuff, and obviously there's no re-entry setup over here. It's way too high. We need some pullbacks or some stuff like that. But we don't have that. So I was watching two pennies was running, right? SUNE was one. Okay, and I was like, man, what's this? Why is this running? There's no news over here. So I didn't want to touch it. I was watching for something else that started having news, which is XHLD, which is also curling up. Now, when everything started to fill, right, you can see my thought process is that this is the sequence, right? I got BTI. Once BTI is out, I was focused because so that also knifed down, right? So I was hoping for volume to rotate into Ader. But when I saw Ader hit 350 and died, right? But if we start seeing some flow in SUNE and XHLD, knowing my setup, knowing what I like, I would choose to trade XHLD over SUNE. Why? Because XHLD has Catalyst, a share buyback program, right? So looking at the current price action over here at this timing, okay, at 10:08, which is right over here. Let's see, yep, 10:08, which is right over here on this candle, right? This smaller candle right here. Yeah, I took my entries at well, okay, I didn't take my entries, but I told you guys this. This is what I was seeing, right? We have a very clear level of separation over here. Okay, I think this is very clear, right? Remember we traded this in the morning. We have very clear action separation at 92 cents. Well, it's 91.8, but I rounded off. Okay, but this is very clear, right? And on the 1 minute chart, we've also got a very nice, right? We've also got a very nice ascending triangle pattern, or at least what I like to see, right? And if you cannot see it, it is also it's a sideways, right? Okay, I'm gonna use the wrong pattern over here, right? It's a sideways cup and handle. You guys see it? This is also a sideways cup and handle, right? This is your, sorry, not cup and handle, head and shoulders, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? This is your head portion over here. Okay, this is your head portion over here. And you have one of your shoulders here and one of your shoulders here. So if I were to draw it and stuff like that, it's gonna be like this. All right, hold on one second. It's gonna be like this, like this, like this. And this is an inverse head and shoulders, right? Yeah. This is it's I mean, people always tell you guys that it's gonna be, it's gotta be like vertical, horizontal, vertical. It's gotta be a vertical. It can't be sideways, it can't be slanted. Who says that? Right? There's no such thing. This thing still works, right? You can see that it's still respecting this trend line. This shoulder is respecting this up and down. The shoulder is respecting this up and down. I didn't change the trend line, right? And then we have this very small hit portion over here. So we got a very nice inverse head and shoulders, I would say, pattern. Look at how beautiful this thing touched this trend line over here and went up. They broke the downtrend over here. And once you broke this 92 cents, which is, I told you guys, there's two ways you guys can play this. Either wait for the 92 cents to break or low AX for bounces. So obviously low AX means 82s, 81s, right? And stuff like that. So you can see that on this time over here at 10:08, right? At 10:08, which is right here, we got nice low dips to 81s multiple times. And again, if you want to have your stops, you could have your stops underneath this trend line over here as well, right? You can have your stops underneath this trend line over here as well, which is what? 79s, not a lot. It's only 2 cents risk. We bounced off from this, right? Broke to the 92 cents level, and look. And after that, right? I think throughout the rest of the day, we started forming a very nice trend. And I told you guys this, right? I told you guys this. Now, I wanted to give you guys a re-entry over here. All right, I wanted to give you guys a re-entry over here, but as I was typing, it halted up. But what did I say? Right? I told you guys that ATX, I mean, that was a nice play. I'm not going to talk too much about that, right? But it's not very important. Okay, I want to talk about his XHLD. So I told you guys to look for re-entries over here, use 90 cents as your stop loss, and manage this accordingly. This is at 12:02. Now, I want you guys to understand how to fish for your own entries. Okay, when I say use 90 cents as your risk, right? I'm telling you guys to have your stop loss under 90 cents. At the point of time, it wasn't really 90 cents, it was 93 cents. Okay, but I like to round it off. And if you think that adding at 1.0 something, which stops under 90 cents, is a good risk to reward, that's fine. But I provided the chart for you guys. Okay, right? You can see that. And if you follow the chart plan, you should know that at the point of 12.25, your stop loss shouldn't be 90 cents anymore. It should be under 96, 97 cents. Now, if you tell me 10 something entries with stops under 97 cents is not a good risk to reward for a ticker that made a move from 46 cents to $1, you're insane. What is the relative range this ticker has? 10 cents is nothing to this ticker anymore. It's not like this ticker ranged from 10 to 15 cents the whole day, right? If so, then yes, 10 cents is a lot. But this ticker was 40 cents yesterday. It was $1 today. It was 120 this morning. What is 10 cents to this ticker right now? Look at this move over here. In just 2 candles, it went up 30%. What is 10 cents to this ticker? You don't have to wait exactly at the dip point for you to add it. You don't have to, right? And clearly over here, right, we got a very nice move to 135. The price flushes down over here, okay, but it's fine. We call this, there's a bit of a demand zone over here on the 5-minute. Price went down to the demand zone. I think we look at the 1-minute over here, see what's up. I gotta use my EMAs, I think. Yeah, price went down. Okay, right. Price went down into the demand zone, the 5-minute demand zone, soaked it a little bit, bullish engulfing candle, three green candles in a row, and 3 very nice green candles in a row, and the squeeze just happened. It was textbook. I kept telling you guys, right? I kept telling you guys for re-entries, plans already given. Look for re-entries, use this as stop loss. I kept telling you guys for right now, the trend breakdown is 94 cents. Buy your dips, sell the pop. Buy your dips, sell the pop. That's all you need to do. And now, if I say stops under $1 at 103, right? Don't tell me that 107 entries ain't good. 7 cents risk. Don't tell me that. Right? This ticker just made a 200% move today, or rather, close to a 200% move. If you come from yesterday's movement, right? what is 7 cents risk to you? And now, obviously, maybe you don't want to be adding over here. You don't want to be adding to weakness, right? Because this is all you're seeing. But when you see this, if you add a 115, stops under $1, it's completely fine as well. The whole day I've just been learning XHLD after. I didn't give you guys anything new. Because that's where the volume is at. There was nothing else. All right. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm holding the rest of my XHWD into tomorrow. Right, this is a very nice after hours action. So hopefully we can see 2 to 3s tomorrow on this. I mean, I'm not hoping too much on it, right? But keep yourself green. This has been a beautiful trade for us today. Okay, all right. I'll be looking for re-entries for you guys tomorrow as well. If let's say it sets up. Yeah, I think I've given you guys a lot of re-entries on ADTX yesterday and even today as well, and they all worked out well, right? ADTX, I think, yesterday I gave you guys 2 to 3s re-entries, all worked out. This morning, earlier just now I gave you guys re-entries over here. Told you guys to buy the dips, went up to 12s, right? And then in the morning we had this 920 breakout, got moved to 10 plus. It was all green. That was nice. Right, for ADTX. Right, it was all green. Yeah. It was all green trades over here for ADTX. So I'll be, if let's say I get a setup for XSLD tomorrow, I'll be watching for re-entries for you guys. Probably during pre-market, I think. So I'll be up just to see if there's anything. But if not, again, we take it day by day and we see what's up. Okay, now before I go on and talk about two plays, one of them is XTIA. Okay, now I understand XTIA did hit 230 today, but I'm looking for this to close under 240 on the daily chart, right? Because this thing is, wicking off right now, the 240 level, right? So it's still holding up, right? It's still holding up, right? So we're still fine. Now, one thing I'm just trying to, see if it catches on is because this thing also has share buyback news, but it's one of the worst performers out of all the ones that we've got. Lidl made new highs. Ader made new highs. XHLD made new highs. XTIA did absolutely fuck nothing. So, that's the reason why I'm swinging it, because we are also at all-time lows, but I'm not going to disrespect my plan if it doesn't work out. Yeah, we still have to trade every single day. Okay, all right. Let me remove this. Remove this. BTX, remove this. Okay, the next one is RGC. Now, RGC for me is going to be more, again, it's more of a lotto play. Early, I think that day I told you guys to look for bounces off the $20 level. And you can see this thing exactly hit 20 yesterday and it bounced back up to 32. If you guys played this is a beautiful trade over here, risk reward, right? Even today hit 37 so far. For me, this is just a fun play, right? It's Chinese, so maybe it can like slowly just grind up to 40, 50, 60, $70 without us knowing. So long as it doesn't liquidate, then we're fine. But if it starts liquidating, I'm out. Anyway, this is a lotto play for me, so I'm not that fixated on this. It's not gonna hurt me too much. All right, and this close on the ADTX is very this close on the ADTX is pretty it's pretty, I would say it's pretty nice close, so we might see more tomorrow, but we'll see. Okay, all right, so I think that's it for now. I'm gonna stop the recording.